Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm your instructor Joy. Thank you very much for your continuous support with your kind words, questions, sending me donations here and also my Patreon page, booking lessons with me, volunteering with your time. It truly means the world to me. Thank you very, very much. So in this video, we're going to talk about 4 common rhythm mistakes that I see in my teaching studio and also other video clips that's out there. Now, when it comes to music making, there are 3 elements that are important. The pitch, the intonation, rhythm, the length of the notes, and your musical ideas, what makes your music is special or unique. So rhythm is one of the most important elements, and one should be learned from very early on how to control those. Very first common mistake that I see is we're not playing long notes long enough. We tend to shorten the long notes. For example, Brahms' waltz, it starts like this. When you see the first note is dotted, quarter note, which has 1.5 beat. 1.5. The next one has only half beat, and the other 2 also half beat. But common mistake that I see is a lot of students tend to play the first one short, about the so as though they're about the same length of the note. So we have to understand why it happens so that we know what to solve it. So when you look at it, even though there's a lot of things going on, slurred over different strings, but it actually has to do with the bow speed. So when you look at carefully without left hand, we use down bow for 2 beats, 1 and 2, and then we use 1 beat with up bow, which means we have to use down bow twice slower, or we have to use up bow twice faster. One could practice that one simply on 1 open string instead of over 2 strings like this, 1 and 2 and 3. And make sure when you go up, move your bow as fast. And then once you're done, then try to do A and D string as the music says, 1 and 2 and 3. A couple times, 1 and 2 and 3. And then once you're done, then you do with the left hand, and 2. And there you, that's how you solve it. Common rhythm mistake number 2. We tend to slow down when it's fast notes. So for example, there's a Beethoven's Minuet. It starts a little like this, and then a bit later it has second session, which is under trio. It goes like this. And when this part happens, a lot of students, not all, but a lot of us tend to slow down, something like this. So here again, let's analyze what the problem is. So with up bow, which is also 3/8 note, we often do not have time, but when the next following 8th note, which should be exactly the same length, we tend to slow down. As you can see, I have to do 1 down bow and 4 up bow staccato. So there's a little difficult bow technique involved. You have 2 solutions you can try. One, change into easier bow stroke, such as just down, up, down, up, down, up. Or number 2, if you want to keep the difficult up bow staccato and practice only those bow technique on an open string with a metronome or counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah. If you're having a hard time counting out loud, you can always use metronome. Or even if after practicing that one, you are not able to keep up with the tempo, then revisit whether the tempo you picked at the beginning was correct tempo. One should always pick the tempo that you can play the fastest part. So this is the fastest part of this particular piece. If your speed, the fastest speed is this, 1 and 2 and 3 and, then this should be your very tempo for the very beginning as well. 1 and 2 and, yeah. So make sure you pick the tempo that you can play the fastest part. That was common rhythm mistake number 2. Common rhythm mistake number 3. We tend to have hard time holding not only long notes or when it's slurred or syncopated. The great example would be Bach double violin concerto. So it starts like this. But then a little later, when the second violin starts its own solo, here after playing 8/16 note, all of a sudden we have to hold for 2 beats while holding actually 2 beats plus a quarter, because we have half notes, 1 and 2 and it's tied over the bar to the next 16th note. So common mistake here, we tend to shorten that one for 2 reasons, because we run out of bow and we stop counting it. So now, how do we fix when we run out of bow? So here, the same rhythm pattern happens over 3 bars, goes like this. So a lot of 16th note, and we have to hold it over, tied over half note to 16th note, so 2 beat plus a quarter. In order to make sure that we have enough bow left, you can use faster up bow than down bow. So that way you bring your bow gradually to the front. For the when the time happens to play long notes, you have enough bow to go down. Again, for the next fast note, you use more up bow than down bow. Therefore, you go slowly to the front, and then you have enough bow to go down. So it goes like this. More up bow than down bow. Again, more up bow than down bow. Then here. Then I'm at the front, and I can do all the long beats that I want. I'm at the tip, and I do the same thing. More up bow, less down bow. I have to use faster up bow. And you got the idea. So if I play in tempo, it goes like this. I'm exaggerating the motion, but always up bow a little more to secure to land on at the front. Yeah, like that. So gradually you use more up bow than down bow. And then now, if we think we forgot to count, then you have to count it, the previous rhythm that you were playing. In this case, the previous rhythm was 8/16th note. Then the long note is half note tied to the next 16th note. So you start counting, you continue counting with the previous notes, like this, by either counting out loud or playing those notes. So I like to continue playing the 16th notes like this. 1 and 2 and 2. 1 and 2 and. So I kept playing 16th notes during the long slurred note instead of just holding it, so that I enforced myself to count as a previous note. Common mistake number 4 that happens a lot with the beginner violin students. We tend to play every note about the same length. I mean, I understand there's a lot of things to focus on, a lot of super multitasking happening. And this Brahms waltz is a great example of it. So, of course, one should practice with working on the bow speed and bow technique. But very first, before you do anything, would be just leave your bow down and put your violin down and practice how to count while clapping. So what you're doing is you're teaching yourself to count in your head while playing. So you can count 1 and 2 and 3 and so you're counting every half beat. So you're clapping, so you're trying to train yourself to multitask without actually playing on the violin by clapping it. It goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So this is about similar the way we would count while we play, but a bit easier because we don't have to worry about both arms moving different directions. Yeah? I hope these tips would be helpful to you, and then I hope you can make your rhythm better and enjoy more with your violin playing. Yeah? Thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again. Bye-bye.